hopefully all bred, and will give birth sometime in March. At the time that I do most of my spinning, and also in winters when I do most of my weaving, because once it gets to be warm weather here in Vermont, there's so many other things you can do outside, which is when I do all my wool dyeing and I wash all the fleeces, and I do a little spinning, but mostly right at the moment I'm spinning wool that I would use in some of my rugs. The rose-colored wool has been dyed already, and that I'll spin for a rug, and then the one on the white is just a natural color. That I'll leave that, I won't dye this. This is a mixture of wool and silk is in that, and that'll be really neat in a rug. And then this is wool, and this has silk in it as well. This is called a Lendrum spinning wheel. That's the brand. It's made by somebody in Canada. And it's an interesting wheel in that it can be completely folded down so that it's easy to carry. This is a very restful exercise. There are two different ways you can spin. This is a long draw spinning method. You can go out. Sometimes you can do it with just one hand, but for this kind of yarn that I'm spinning, sometimes you can do it just like that. Yeah. Which takes a little practice. It's kind of a neat thing to do. It's a little tricky. It's fun. You can't hold on to it very tightly to do that. You have to be very loose. So that's called the long draw. So then the short draw is more controlled. It's like that. But when you spin, you have to hold on to it very lightly. Otherwise it clumps up and it's hard to pull it out. Usually what I use is a coarser yarn, coarser wool for the rugs. Although I do make some of them with a very soft wool because it feels really good when you walk on it, so I make some that are quite soft. So by spinning it, which gives the wool a twist and makes it firmer, it makes it much better for a rug. By spinning it, it makes the wool stronger when you put it into a rug. I could actually just weave with this, just like this, but it wouldn't be quite as strong because it doesn't have any twist to it. It doesn't have any depth. As you can see, this is really kind of very sort of gossamer, but by spinning it, you're twisting all those fibers, and it gives it strength. The fibers of wool lock together as they're spun, whereas hair doesn't have the same, the fiber isn't the same structure. It doesn't have the same structure as a wool fiber, and hair just slides across, the hairs slide across one another, whereas with the wool fibers, they interlock as they're spun. And hair, such as dog hair or llama, is that because of the structure of wool, it has it adds bounce, so that if you had just plain llama wool, which is fine, I mean you can spin that, but it won't have any real bounce to it. So if you want to give that to it, that you can add a little, you can mix some wool with the llama. Right now Alice is joining me because she usually likes to sit on the loom bench with me when I weave. Yes, Alice. What I'm doing right now is I'm filling a shuttle, getting ready to weave. No, I buy what this is the start of a rug here. This part right here, this that goes all along at the beginning of the rug is called twining. And this takes about, to do this piece that goes from one end to the other, took me about 45 minutes just to do that. One of the things that's important when you're weaving rugs is you have to have a very heavy beater, and that's what this unit is, for packing the yarn in so that it packs it in evenly and thoroughly. It's important to have the sides of the rug be as even as you can make them. Otherwise, you know, for just the appearance of the rug and also for the structure. Right now I'm making one of what I call one of my Norwegian rugs, croak rugs. And after 2 inches of gray, then I'll start doing my pattern from about here up. And it's going to be made of blues, different shades of blues with a little bit of gray and a little bit of white, natural white. My loom is specific for weaving rugs, but you could read other things on it. It's just that it's particularly good for rugs. And this loom was made in Canada, in Quebec, and the loom company no longer exists. They went out of business about 10 years ago. It's called a Clement loom, C-L-E-M-E-N-T. This particular rug right here is going to be about 41, let me see, it's about 44 inches wide, and it's going to be about 75 inches long, and it is going to take me about 40 hours. And what I'm doing now is I'm putting on something, this is called a tenter hook, and this stretches the rug as I weave it and keeps the edges from bowing in. And then that will hold it, that will keep it out.